Hi everyone, it's me B from a Kelly Sunflower. So I'm on today to do a video response to Marlene Theresa, and the hashtag is called Tarot to the Extreme. So this hashtag is really about what polar opposites you have in your collection, and it's a 7-question hashtag. So the first question is minimalist versus maximalist. So for my minimalist deck, I thought I'd choose the Confronting Tarot. And the reason why I've chosen this deck for this question is because, you know, this deck is quite minimal to me. It's clean, fresh, minimal archetypes. It's not cluttered. So this is the Confronting Tarot. For my Maximalist deck, I've chosen the Bonefire Tarot. So for me, this deck has quite a lot going on. There's quite a lot of things in the background that make this deck very busy. It's just got a lot of distractions in the background, and I have to be in the right headspace, to be quite honest, to read with this deck. Just a lot of stuff going on in the artwork, so that's why I put it down for my Maximalist deck. Question 2 is daytime versus nighttime. So for my daytime tarot deck, I've chosen the Hip Chick Tarot. So this deck is really kind of chirpy, you know, it's got daisies, which I really like, and it's just got bright, vibrant colours that kind of bring me alive. You know, in the daytime I want to be awake so that I can work, and this like, to me, a very daytime, very bright type of tarot deck. Beautiful, really nice, vibrant colours and vibrant artwork as well. For my nighttime deck, I've gone with the Steampunk Tarot, and the reason why I've chosen this deck is because basically it's dark. I mean, when I say dark, I mean dark in colouring and stuff, and you know, I also suffer from night blindness. And this deck, I find it very difficult to read at night, so I think the colouring and even the kind of theme to me is more of a nighttime kind of deck. Question 3 is best shuffle versus worst shuffle. So for my best shuffle deck, I've chosen this deck here. It's called the Teddy Bear Tarot. I think they're slightly smaller than a regular deck, and that could be the reason why, but they really shuffle nicely. So it's a Rider-Waite inspired teddy bear deck, and it's just really good to shuffle with. So the worst shuffle deck is this deck, which is called the Affinity Tarot. It's kind of like an affinity shaped box, and the actual cards are in the shape of the affinity symbol, and I don't know whether it's the size or whether it's the shape, but they're really hard to shuffle, that they drop a lot. But I'll show you some of the artwork. So this is, I don't know if this deck's still in print, but it's a Scarabell deck, and it's just Rider-Waite inspired, and it's very pleasing to the eye. That's a devil card, you can wear that as a mask. It's one of my favourite cards in this deck. But I think it's just the shape and the size that for me make it quite difficult or challenging to shuffle with. Question number 4 is confronting versus comforting. So for my confronting deck, I've chosen the Crow Tarot deck. And the reason why I find this deck confronting is because I'm scared of crows. They actually freak me out. Why, I don't know, and this is the reason why I bought this deck in the first place, to try and get over the phobia that I have for crows. So even though now I can look at the decks and look at the crows in this deck and not feel so scared, it'd be a different story if I saw a crow in its live form. So I do find this deck very confronting because of my fear for crows. So the comforting deck that I've chosen is called the Cook's Tarot. And for me, the reason why I find this deck so comforting is firstly the vibrant colours of this deck, and secondly, it's this deck's all based around food, and I'm quite a big foodie. I enjoy food, I enjoy cooking, I enjoy eating it. So the vibrant colours and the actual theme behind this deck make me feel very comforted. Look at that sharp blade for the Ace of Swords, slicing right through that apple. It's just a very pleasant deck. So question 5 is everyday versus every so often. So for my everyday deck, I've chosen the Albano-Waite Tarot. The Rider-Waite Tarot deck is a system that I'm mainly familiar with. It's a system that I learnt with. It's a system that I feel comfortable with. And if I want an everyday reading for myself, I would more go towards this deck. I also like the vibrant colours and the colour coordination for each suits, and it's just an everyday go-to deck for me. For the every so often category, I've chosen the Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Poppy Allen. So for me, I love this deck. I completely adore it. It reminds me of my childhood in London, like the old London. The reason why it's in the every so often category is because of the size. Sometimes there's just not enough workspace to do readings with this deck, but that's just the only reason why. It's just mainly the size. Question 6 is overrated versus underrated. So for my overrated deck, I've chosen the II Onyx. Even though I enjoy this artwork and stuff, and I use it more as an oracle deck, I just can't read with it. It's not a readable deck for me as a tarot card. A lot of the archetypes have been changed, and some of the court cards have just got faces on them, and I just can't read with it. So that's the reason why it's in the overrated category. Nothing to do with the artwork. It's just the readability of this deck. For my underrated deck, I've gone for the Hermit's Tarot. It's a 100 card oracle deck. It's just got very nice affirmations, and some of them are kind of linked to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I've never ever seen a flip through of this deck. Ever on YouTube, but it gives really good readings. I've seen a couple of readers use it in the community. I think Amethyst Ascension and Lady Knight of Avalon, but apart from that, I've never seen flip through of this deck, and it gives really good readings. And you know, some of the cards do have you know, tarot card association, like this one, number 10. I want to start a fan review. This could be the 10 of Cups. I'm in so much pain. 10 of Swords. You know, it's really a nice deck, but not a lot of people use it. So this is the Hermit's Tarot. So the last question, which is question 7, is light work versus shadow work. So for my light work deck, I've chosen the influence of the Angels Tarot deck. It's a really nice deck. It's Rider-Waite inspired, but it's got a kind of like, not a religious, but it's got a kind of like angelic feel to this deck. And I think, for me, I think it's very good for light work. So for my shadow work deck, I've chosen this deck, the New Era Elements Tarot. I was torn, you know, whether to use this for confronting or shadow work, but I think it's more, for me, of a shadow work deck. But look at this, grief. Someone injecting drugs, and then, you know, it's got the heart, the Three of Swords there. I think this deck is Thoth inspired. The Fool is, you know, in the womb where you're safe. So Judgment. So, Tower. This card threw me off for years, but I'm at peace with it now. But look at the Devil card. I will leave a link of the decks that I used in the description bar. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.